So sometimes people come into the TechCrunch studio with funny business cards and funny titles. The lady who has come into the studio today has a very interesting title, CIO of Intel, Kim Stevenson. Kim, welcome to TechCrunch TV.
Thank you, Andrew.
Kim, before we get on to CIO, what's this Intel company that you work for? Tell me about that. Is it a startup?
Oh no, it's not a startup. Maybe we would like some startup behaviors at times. But you know, we're going through our own transformation at Intel and expanding beyond our traditional PC and server business, getting into phones and software and some services. So many aspects of what we do are startup-like.
And CIO, how long have you been doing it, and what do those words stand for?
So I've been the CIO just over a year at Intel. I've been with Intel for about 3 years. And it's Chief Information Officer. And what I like to tell people is that most of Intel are creators of technology. In the IT organization, which is my team, we're the appliers of technology. So we try to take all of what's created, the innovative stuff, whether it comes from Intel or startups or mature companies, and exploit it to its fullest potential.
I know there are over 100,000 people who work at Intel. How many people in the IT department?
We're about 6,500 on any given day.
So you have 6,500 people working for you?
Yeah, yep.
So is most of your job managerial?
I would say my job is some managerial, but I really think it's more about providing leadership, pushing the envelope on innovation. Ultimately, the only thing I'm supposed to do is create value for the company. And we do that by either making our employees more productive or helping the business to grow in those ways.
So Kim, you must see a lot. We've got an audience out there, mostly of entrepreneurs and investors or wannabe entrepreneurs. You must see a lot from the inside of Intel about what's happening. What advice would you give a 20-something kid out there who wants to do a startup? What are you seeing? What's interesting?
Yeah, so one of the things that I think is unexploited yet is the opportunity for 3D visualization. So if you think about big data sets and the big data, making sense of that is becoming easier and easier. So you have large Hadoop clusters that can process information really quickly. But now you have to take that and you have to visualize that. I think that's a market gap today. There's some players out there that are trying to get to that. And when you can get into that 3D immersive environment, we've all moved to this where we're comfortable with gesture, we're comfortable with touch. And in fact, the latest devices are all gesture and touch enabled. So they'll come out with 3D cameras before you know it. And so I think that's a huge opportunity for startups to serve.
Ever since I've been in the Valley, since the early 90s, everyone's always talked about 3D as the next big thing. In fact, in the late 90s, I worked for a company, Pulse 3D, that was one of the big 3D online companies at the time. Is it for real now? Is it not just the future? Is it happening 3D? Yeah,
the reason it's for real is because it's affordable. So camera costs or 3D camera costs coming down dramatically. The data set, be able to manage the data. What it used to take on the Intel Hadoop cluster that we've built, it used to take us 4 hours to process certain data sets, now takes us 7 minutes. And so you take those cost factors that they're now commercially available at affordable price points, and now 3D's a reality.
So you're saying that Intel is enabling 3D?
We are enabling 3D. And whether it's on a device with a 3D camera or whether it's helping that back-end data processing through things like the Hadoop cluster.
So is Intel still a PC company? Is it a mobile company?
We're a computing company.
What does that mean?
So we make silicon for all types of computing devices. And you know, we certainly are huge makers of PCs and huge provider of the x86 microarchitecture into the marketplace. But we've taken, in fact, are you okay? I'll show you my phone. So this is
what's that?
That is an Intel phone. It's Intel
and
inside.
Intel have a phone?
Intel. We actually have 10 phones in the marketplace today. They're in 20 different countries. So we went after markets with the right market size, like
Can you buy them in the
China.
U.S.?
Nope, not yet in the U.S. But India, China, Africa, lots of countries in Europe. We're in 20 countries. So we went from, basically 0 a year ago to 10 designs in market and more to come.
So Intel now is a telephone company?
We are a computing device manufacturer.
So
this is just a computing device, right? How often do you use your phone to make a phone call versus text or read email or look at Twitter, right? So use cases are changing.
Well, Kim, you're on TechCrunch, so you can make some product announcements. I assume Intel's going to come out with what, an iPad-style device as well?
So we have what I think is the most exciting devices that are out now and coming out are what we're calling convertibles. So it's a tablet and a laptop, and with the push of a button, you can detach the tablet, take that to your meetings, take that on the train, wherever you need the tablet, and then just connect it, and you get the power. We call it, it's like a 2-for-1 purchase. You get both the tablet and a laptop for when you need to do different styles of work.
This may seem a naive question, but why is Intel wasting its time on front-end products? Why not let the experts, the Apples and the Motorolas of the world, design the hardware? You do the insides.
It's really a complete ecosystem. So if you think about one of the biggest challenges that people have today is they want their content to be available everywhere. And that's why cloud is such an attractive offering. Because it allows you to have access across there. And what we're trying to do is not only enable that content across a broad open ecosystem, so some of the providers aren't quite so open, but provide it at a security layer where the security is actually down in the silicon, enabling you to have secure content across all types of devices.
And is it also fair to say that Intel's becoming, in a sense, a media company?
In what way?
Well, that you now have a group making investments in media, and you've always had an interest in media.
Well, we think content is really important in content distribution, and so we have we have an interest in those marketplaces, and and stay tuned. They're likely to be more discussed about that.
What else should we be staying tuned for, Kim? In terms of Intel?
Yeah, so we're making a lot of software investments that are I think, surprising. We bought McAfee a couple years ago. That's a fairly obvious one. But we just released our own distribution of Hadoop. And again, it has there's a constant thread with all of the products that we do at Intel in terms of our Hadoop distribution has a layer of security built in, so you get performance and security. And I think that's a pretty exciting product, and you think about the evolution of big data, it is going to be at the crosshairs of that evolution.
So how do entrepreneurs, excusing the pun, get inside Intel, either for investment or sales? Do they come to you?
We have no, not to me. If you, it's Intel Capital. So we have a VC as part of the company, is Intel Capital, and they make several investments every month in companies, and mostly interested in those companies that are driving the computing market forward. And so that's the type of investments that we make there.
Well, Kim, I can't resist, finally. You're obviously a woman.
Yeah.
Don't take that personally. There's been a lot of debate over the last few weeks about women in tech, obviously because of the Sandberg book, but there's a lot of debate about it anyway. Where do you stand on how hard it is and should be or could be for women like yourself to become, like yourself, senior executives at large technology companies?
So,
and you have a minute.
Yeah, look, I think it's hard. These jobs are hard for everybody. I don't know that it's terribly different for men or women. It depends on the circumstance. I agree with Cheryl's advice. I thought the advice was very good. I don't agree with progress being stopped. I think I'm a good example of progress. I was just also recently named to the board of directors of a tech company. So I think there's a lot of opportunities, but it's not for the faint of heart. They're tough jobs, and they're time-consuming, and you have to make a commitment to staying on top of your game. And the tech industry moves faster than any industry out there.
So you're saying people shouldn't have been critical of Sandberg?
I think she tried to start a conversation, and I think that she absolutely started the right conversation. And so I'm a little skeptical on those who are what's the value in being critical of getting the conversation going?
Well, Kim Stevenson, the CIO of Intel, thank you so much for this conversation, and I look forward for you to come back on the show. You can show me some more Intel devices.
I'll bring some the next time. Thanks.